Welcome to a new segment of Berrien Birding.
All right, I'm Josh.
I'm Matt, and we're going to talk about county listings so far this year. And when you're looking at county listing early in the year, one of the first things you're looking at is owls. Now, we were lucky enough to have a good view of long-eared owl at the end of last year. At the beginning of this year, we used David's heat camera to look at something, and this is an artist rendition of what the long-eared looked like. You could see about, 2 inches by 3 inches of flank feathers. So
That's normally what you see, right, with long-eared.
that was exactly what we saw that day.
Yeah.
We did an episode how we did find a saw-whet, which was a very fun thing of this bird kind of sitting there getting snowed on.
To be fair, the titmice found it.
The titmice found it. Someone else found the short-eared, and hopefully we'll have a better video of short-eared tonight. Then you get into ducks. And there were 2 harlequin ducks down at New Buffalo at the beginning of the year, which I don't know that we can do a whole lot ID-wise in these guys other than just say they have dark and they've got some spots on their face.
That's pretty much it, yep.
We'll get better video and talk about harlequin duck in the future. And then you're looking for other birds. You're looking for black scoter. You're looking for white-winged scoter, which these have been way harder than they should have been. I don't know if it's due to some flavor of bird flu, of whether it's due to botulism or whether it's due to global warming, but I've seen white-winged scoter once this year. I think you guys had all 3 scoters once at Discordia while I was gone.
Yeah, and last year they were here all winter long. They were at New Buffalo, so yeah, that was really strange to not see very many this year.
We'll see if they start popping back in. And then white-winged gulls, similar theme. There have been no white-winged gulls, so we're just going to keep going. And let's talk about finches, which is another thing that you look for in the winter. Now, newsflash, there have been no white-winged crossbills in southern Michigan. There have been no redpolls in southern Michigan. There have been a few of these guys, though.
Yeah, so what we're looking at here is a female purple finch. So the ID can be tricky on those, but yeah, the big thing, actually, I think the females are easier to ID than the males are because they're so streaky. The contrast is so much higher than they are on House Finch. And they have that dark streak over the eyebrow. Here's a really good video.
And you can also see the thick jaw stripe, and like Josh said, that white eye stripe. When I first saw these guys, I thought they were white-throated sparrows with just naked eye, and I put my bins on. I'm like, oh, okay, purple finch.
Yep, the notched tail is another thing, and then the straight culmen and the top of the bill. So the top edge of the bill is straight, whereas in House Finch it's curved. It kind of curves down. Once I kind of found out about that field mark and started looking at that, that's pretty accurate. When you start to see these birds, but you have to have a decent look to see the shape of the bill.
And I suppose that's something that you could kind of say, like, yes, it's straight, or no, it's curved. And then once you see it's straight, then now you can get your eyes in on this purple finch, which has a lot more kind of discrete streaking along the breast. That face is just a lot heavier, more contrast, like you mentioned, in the face. To allow yourself to say, yes, that is a purple finch. And as Josh mentioned, that notched tail stands out on both purple finch and redpoll, and siskins too, as the idea of this is something different. Moving along to other birds we look for in winter, hawks. You see a red-tailed hawk down at about 3-4 o'clock that's perched on a heavy branch, and you see another buteo that this is perched on the little branch. And this is a roughie. That rough-legged hawk has smaller feet to catch smaller prey, and so they'll perch on littler branches. And another fun thing about rough-legged, this is one of the very few buteos that will hover. That kestrels hover, but kestrels are 10% of the weight of rough-legged, and these are fairly striking as they're flying with all that contrast that you can see here. There's another bird that you drive around looking for. Josh, tell us about this experience.
Yeah, there's one, a good bird for the list, right? That one kind of surprised me. I don't know that you can ever go out and target golden eagle, but maybe you can on south winds or something like that. But this one kind of popped over a tree line, and I noticed it was a large raptor. Turkey vultures weren't in the area yet, so that was ruled out. It was either a bald eagle or a golden eagle. And then the white and the centrally located underneath the wings was what gave it away, along with that. The white at the base of the tail. And then you can kind of see on the back of this picture, on the back of the neck, a little bit of that golden nape.
And here's a composite of golden and bald that you see. Bald eagle just has this mottled white, whereas in golden, it's very discreet. The kind of $50 patches, which On this bird are kind of squished, but hey, you know what? Who's counting? We'll give him the full dollar's worth, given being a golden eagle. So that's a bird that, yeah, I still need, and I'm not sure that I'm going to get back on you. We'll see. We'll see how this
There's still
goes.
time.
There's still time. Other field birds, we cataloged the shrike. That this took me, I want to say, like 7 tries to find when I finally came back from a trip. But shrikes are fun. You found it since this one. You found at least one more.
Well, yeah, one more down on Buffalo Road. That one was we had a snowstorm come through, I don't know, a couple weeks ago.
As witnessed by what this hornlark is walking on.
Yeah. And since that storm, I've kind of went past that area he was hunting and haven't seen him. So I'm guessing that shrike has moved on.
They're always fun birds, and then you're kind of looking for field birds. And so here's a horned lark just kind of walking around. You're not necessarily looking for horned larks because you can find horned larks pretty much any time of year. You're looking for what just flew in there. There's Lapland longspur, much more, again, discreetly streaked. This bird is not wanting to be on the internet as he keeps walking away, but hey, what are you going to do? But you can see kind of that buffy face. When eventually they'll kind of turn around, and you kind of see they kind of have a centralized breast spot as well. I was surprised with them right next to the larks. I think of them as bigger than the larks, but the larks are actually bigger than the longspurs.
Yeah, they're smaller. Yeah, I was surprised too. I think where was this that you took that? This
was on Totski in that field. Here you can see there's a snow bunting running around. Usually it's a couple of longspurs and a big flock of snow buntings, but this group, these are actually mostly longspurs, and there was one snow bunting. But some of those birds, you can see kind of that central kind of chest, kind of almost necklace.
Yeah. As they move into breeding plumage, right?
Getting there. There's a ways out. We'll start hunting for Smith's longspur later on in the season, and hopefully get some nice close to breeding pictures of the Lapland longspur. So here in Berrien, there's another bird that you need to check off. You got to get all of your Euro trash. And unlike many places that are blessed to only have house sparrow, rock pigeon, and starling, we also have Eurasian collar dove. And so you got to go and check off your year annual county collar dove. As you can see, it's got the black squared off tail with the black extending on the outer feathers to eliminate a hybrid with an African collar dove, because Lord knows we need to make sure that our introduced bird isn't hybridizing with a different introduced bird, and got to make sure. So
what is that again, Matt? What's the undertail? What am I looking for to because I see that's African collared dove is always something you want to eliminate, although I don't know that it's ever been in the county. But
I don't think they're down here. You can occasionally in Florida see some of them, I believe, maybe even in Indiana some. But this discrete black line that goes about halfway down the tail, that the outer tail feather has black at the base, and then it goes off to this white tail, and then you get this kind of central white square. This is photographed through a windshield, which I feel like is all of the resolution that a collared dove really merits. You guys, while I was in Florida, were finding trumpeter swans, which fortunately I've since found trumpeter swans since. But this was my little bit of I'm jealous of my list being kind of garbage. So let me put in a beautiful photo of a bird that maybe we'll get in Berrien County someday.
Yeah.
Someday we'll get one. And now we're kind of into the idea of finding birds that we will see. That if you're really gunning for your year list, you got to get out there. And this is going to be a marker of what your year list is how many of these birds that, you're going to get them later on in the year, but can you find them now? So here is a sapsucker, first week of April. They'll be pretty common. Hermit thrush, can't miss that in April if you're birding, but you might as well get it now as long as you're out.
Get it checked off, yep.
And absolutely, you'll find uncommon birds if you're actually out there and looking. And then this time of year, we're looking for geese. Here was the cackling goose that we talked about a few videos ago, and now there's white-fronted in the county that Josh and I just got back from the dunes overlook and saw nearly 400 white fronts go over, which has been a daily occurrence for Josh, and I've been just striking out on them entirely.
Yeah, a lot of white-fronted geese I've been lucky to cross paths with this year.
He's had more in the last 2 weeks than I've had in 20 years in Berrien County, but
yeah, just look up, go outside and look up.
Next up, snow goose. Next up, Ross's goose. We've got more birds to find. We'll check back with this segment of county listing in probably about a month before we set up high spring.
All right. Sounds good.